Over 200 tons of tomatoes are imported into Ghana annually from its northern neighbor, Burkina Faso. But recently, the country announced its breakaway from the regional bloc, that is the ECOWAS, together with other Francophone countries, that is Mali and Niger. With the ECOWAS ensuring that these countries or member states benefit from free trade and movement, will their breakaway affect bilateral relationships with Ghana? In today's discussion here on the food chain, we'll be interacting with industry players on how their breakaway could affect the industry. My name is Emmanuel Bright Kweku. Stay with us.
We're at 20, yeah, 50 there. Me, I share 100. So, we are not safe on our Monday too.
Madia sells tomatoes at the racecourse market in Kumasi. She explains the prices of the commodity aggregated into smaller quantities on the markets.
A dependent price, you know. So, price number for my, yes, you are shaman actually. So we miss about 20 and 20 something to 20 cities by Esushaw. I can see on coming man and no one. So me when I said dear China say Emra, I was some yen name few. And now once no more also don't say that would it be Kahunina? A big games into Kaubenya Kawusha.
The price of the commodity has in recent times seen an astronomical increase on the local markets. A box of tomatoes sold at 600 Ghana cedis in the preceding year now goes for a minimum of 2,100 Ghana cedis per the imported box. Retailers of the commodity continue to blame the price hikes to high exchange rates.
The entire amount boy dinner and I fancy him for any to so ebeba beyefo because on corona near kwaso kotodo ukwa hana hanya obekwa ukwa hana hanya na sese baby ka krebi na tibidoye obekwa echiri papa ansa na wakoto ena baby bi ohwo de price no form kakra na wo di agro obekwa kotia bomb sesia enti amaye ne nam tenten baby etimi kono ehwo e kakra bi nti bo ebo no munyina ehwo na mo banti wo de beje mo aboden nti mumanya na aboden aka iska na ya tamse ne 3 loading fee bibia akosoro enti aboden no saa na mo benya na mo de aba druga na bre no a enkosoro ti sewe no because we ka iska ne duty no kura kum se eba se ewo Ghana ha ya ne ekofa ka iska no wafa watwa 20 million 25 million enti road expenses bi anim zandar bi anyina kwemu a wo beji uska se wo nti ene bo ntimi nkosoro sa depende wo bra ye to na even 50 Ghana kura wo bra ye to no 1 million wo bra ye to no 5 million depende last year adade ye to no 7 million 6 million 7 million 6 million san ye to e aigwe ye to no 3 million 35 ebe kosorpan ne ko 8 million.
Other vendors are attributing the price upsurge to the influx of some unauthorized sale of the commodity. They explain the sale of the tomato fruits, usually packaged in paper boxes as these, is affecting the market.
And I'm boss of 20 minutes as I made Kobe. Minianum Bebresu will fear yes, can Kobu. Boss, we have no cry. It's here, Srabai. Or my share box on my head. But box or no cartoon. I didn't rub a brave in here. I didn't rub a brave at 10 Kumasa Maya, as say Kumasano. Box should have been a Sivon. So, one would the free Waga, Zabila, Boko, one would the abe goom, car, Dako car, bro bear 20 in a Beckmas. I say. And ya some catwa. A box I did couldn't. If you take an anonum, other moment say gano, box away near the co. Say, since we the box away, and echo, I him out for sre, and penning for sre, ya in Calais, Solania sugar him out for so, and so my car woman see it.
A bessia best 18 million. Say, Yanto. And yachts were 15 and 14.
Then I see how many days nowadays.
And I'm quite nearby.
How many days
se ya Antoine ne anopa kwa ne ahwe age so de gibe 10 million na tinsuo ntosi ni ahoden sa ti obedu ya wo se ye toma wo enti anopa nkone ne bo awia nkone ne bo anwumre nkone ne bo ade ache so anon nkone ne bo ti ntosi de enyina abokoso se ntosi ebi ni Ghana ha ba bia I just saw what's the sun sefa se wo kwa won kita ska ba se 300 million 400 million won timi nko wo kwa ba so na baboka.
A tomato leader, Haja Mansoura, and her colleague wholesalers are distraught over the price hike. They argue the low patronage of the commodity is incurring losses.
14-15 mana boka omuna tiwe wo kasa se ya obi besumpo mana boka firisi e sha se e kan kwa because we dem ho ne boarding kai ska no boarding kai ska no de wo kwa 300 million na de wo ko na kwa mu atu a aba ehwo aban ne so wo pesika wono a ejina na so wo pesika enti duty no eye no ho no watam se no be fo wa na wo ko enti ese wutua na wo ko ana tie china kura ye besie obi echina ye besie obi ba ku ye dine na wotweda nyina ebe kwa o mbekwa akohwe no ye si ne tirimu ahoma nyina tete adwendwene ba ku twahwe ye ya ene etam ne de ko emergency wa ankasa 3 weeks ene wodi wu ye hwe ye si ne na yi nyina asai eka nti eka de ye bobi aye ye dwuma ye hunu de ye ena afi ahanso a ya ba maka ho na ye wono ho ano de se ukọ edum ukọ edwakasiem stores no wo ho enti man to se man yetu obia no obi wo wa woto ba 2 million ko gu fridge mu se yetu na wonni bibia no nti wato 20 cedis 5 cedis ena obeto no akoma naji nti ama ye ho kire ye papa.
Militant activities in tomato farming communities in the French countries still persist. A driver, Uncle Nab, shares an ordeal they encounter on the road transporting the commodity to the market.
Last year, so last year, 100%, this year, I found 60-50. I'm talking about the Boko Haram attacking. Last year, no, Yako Burkina na just Burkina South haya ye wuomu wa Burkina ye wuomu na mpo ya Ghana border ye wuomu na haye kura no na Boko Haram for na attack ni ye serious by week anyi one driver on the daytime adachi na oroko olutwe bere 40 kilometers na wako village bi oroko na ipa 5 was stop no Boko Haram for bi was the one to the form was one papa that driver ko bed in fact oyer car no sumpo ekwani ye maka no sumpo film ya bugui na haze nti no ehu ne ze south aye bakara wa akofo but north one ze oyehu still as is as kere yeloko wa about odidwa no kare o moko de meria se na dabo no tum kara monko otum travel 4 days na wunya kala was boko de meria se na ko tomatoes.
The ECOWAS imposed sanctions on Burkina Faso following a military overthrow, which subsequently saw the junta-led countries revoke its membership in the regional bloc. But could this pose a threat to the Ghanaian market, as Burkina Faso is the sole supplier of tomatoes to the country?
So you are still watching the food chain here on the Joy News channel with me, Emmanuel Bright Kweko, and joining me for this particular discussion is the National Chairman of the Ghana National Tomato Traders and Transporters Association, Mr. Eric Osetofo. Mr. Eric, thank you for joining us.
Thank you too.
All right. So, Mr. Eric, we just want to find out, first of all, how is the industry so far?
You know, during the lean season, from December up to May, we've been importing tomato from Burkina Faso as well as Niger to Ghana. So right now, we travel from here to Burkina Faso up to Niger to import fresh tomatoes to Ghanaian markets every blessed day. And then we faces a lot of challenges within the road. When we close the border, we have a lot of challenges over there. You know, Burkina Faso, they are now in a crisis. I learned they've withdrew from ECOWAS. So the benefit that we have to get when we get to Burkina Faso, once they are now not a ECOWAS member state, I think we are going to lose such benefits. Because formerly they were a member of ECOWAS Economic Committee for West African States. They were a member, but now I learned they've taken their membership. So, you know, ECOWAS, they have free movement of goods, free movement of people and everything. But right now, you have to, when you get there, formerly they were not asking of our identity. But right now, when we get there, they want everybody on board of the vehicle to give out his or her identity before he will be given passage. It's one of the matters that it's causing us a problem. And then we can't get to their territory where the fighting is going on. Last year we faced a lot of challenges when we get to the northern part of the country. Unexpectedly, when the vehicle parks and they start loading, these so-called Boko Haram people will come around. They will harass the drivers, the traders. They will ask them to pack their belongings and then leave the place. So at times they disperse their boxes already. When they start loading, they will come around and then disturb them. They will leave the place, leaving all the tomato and the crates, and then come back to Ghana.
We are making a point that now they demand for your identity card. Previously, how was it? It was just free movement, right?
Oh, that was, they were demanding, but it's not as it is now.
How is it now?
Right now, without your identity, they won't give you passage. When you get to the territory of the interior agencies, they will just stop the vehicle, line up the people on board. They have to inspect it before they will give you passage. So it's a sort of something that is disturbing our trade.
How so is it disturbing? How is it disturbing it?
Oh, you know, we go with time. And at the moment you are delayed by even 30 or 1 hour, it will cost you much because we go there with time. Yeah.
So meaning it's going to, tomato is a perishable?
Very good, it's a perishable.
Once you bring it out and then it delays on the road, it can actually...
The delays can cause damages to the tomato because it's highly perishable.
Now let's look at how our bilateral relations to these countries, ECOWAS, Niger, Burkina Faso and then Mali. How beneficial, what is the benefits we get from them? Since they've withdrawn out of the ECOWAS, what were the benefits we're getting from them? Or even now, they've not really established that maybe they not be transporting, but maybe something will be in the pipeline. What are the benefits?
As you know, they are our traded partner. We normally import tomato from Burkina Faso. We import onions from Burkina Faso as well as Niger. So it's a free movement of vehicles, goods, and then even personnel. We normally go there, import something. And when something happens at their end, it goes straightly affects Ghanaians because we go there for business normally. So what they are doing now, I think it will go a long way to disturb us.
How much of the tomato are you able to import, or how many boxes are you able to import, let's say in a week or even in a month?
On average, every blessed day we import about 40 to 50 trucks daily. 40 to 50 trucks on average. It could be lower, it could be higher than that. And we do that cross-border trade for a period of 6 months.
Okay. So meaning for 6 months you are importing tomatoes.
Exactly,
from these
exactly,
areas.
yeah.
What about the rest of the year? Where do you import them from?
Oh, that we normally go to Côte d'Ivoire, and then we got some in the upper, there's in Bono region, Ashanti region, and then Bono East region. Right now, we do not have any tomato within our country. Only few from Upper East. They are yet to start their harvesting. So the tomato that we are consuming at our homes and what we see in our market centers, they are all from Burkina Faso and Niger. So I think this is the peak season. This is the time we normally import tomato from our neighbor or our sister countries, Burkina Faso and then Niger.
Okay. So still on the ECOWAS issue, in case Niger, Mali, and then Burkina Faso, in case they say, so far as they've withdrawn out of the ECOWAS, in case they say they are not allowing us to import tomatoes from these areas, what are you going to do as an association? What is
for that one, I don't think they can say that. Because I met a Greek minister in Burkina Faso, trade minister in Burkina Faso, even I met the vice president also. And they told me their source of income is from Ghana. Their major export is tomato. How can somebody who is saying this to you can ban you of going to Burkina Faso for their produce? So for that one, I don't think it will happen.
What is really happening to the Ghanaian industry? It seems this conversation has been had over the years. Nothing really seems to be done. What is really happening?
Actually, they are now on it. When Honorable Brian Champon took office, he called all the tomato value chain actors on board. And we had a series of discussions. We moved to Upper East. We call all the actors in tomato value chain, including the farmers. So they have now started doing something. But we have a long way to go. We should continue. You shouldn't do it this year and leave it next year. Right now, probably by next month, they will start harvesting. We didn't start the arrangements on time. So they are now, they delayed. But I think on subsequent years, we need to plan on time so that the farmers can go into tomato farming. And they were complaining about the inputs, agric inputs. And that message too has been given to the minister. And the minister is now working on it to come out with good things.
What was the assurance? Is it going to be something quick that is going to happen soon?
Oh, I think it will be quick. I normally have discussions with the Crops Directorate Deputy Director. They are working on it. Yeah, I think it's governmental level. Okay. At times, at his ministry, they will do everything. They have to send it to cabinet meeting for approval. Yeah. I think that thing will cause the delayance. But they are still working on it. We are playing that we can get enough tomato in Ghana because when we cross the border, the harassment, intimidations, exploitation of money by the interior agencies from our traders and drivers is very bad. We are not free at all. But when we get it here, the huge money that we are giving to Burkina or that we are oiling their economic will remain here. At the end of the day, Ghana will benefit.
Okay. Now you were talking about the fact that some farms have been started in Ghana. Would you be able to supply, how would you say, meet our demands as a country, demands?
For that one, they can't. Only this year that they have been able to revive the tomato industry in the Upper East.
This year? It began this year?
Yeah, it began this year. Most of them couldn't go into the farming probably from next year going, the news will spread all over. So majority people will go into the farming, tomato. And also, they have to start on time. Their produce is late now because we started importing from Burkina Faso from December 10th. And we are still going there. Only few have started coming from Upper East. That's Pusiga, Boko district, Pusiga. Very few. Even a day we can't get even 2 trucks. They've delayed. So next year we have to do all our preparation on time so that most of the farmers can go into tomato farming. And you know, the whole of Africa, statistics shows that Ghana, we consume tomato more than any other country in West Africa, as well as the whole of Africa. And even the whole world, statistics shows Ghana, we are number 2. This really means Ghanaian people like fresh tomato. And looking at daily importation, as I've already said, on average is 40 to 50 trucks daily. It will take time for Ghanaian farmer to meet this kind of demand.
So you're still watching The Food Chain with me, Emmanuel Bright-Kweku, here on the Joy News channel. And joining me for this particular interaction on the implications of Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso's breakaway from the ECOWAS, what it means to the Ghanaian economy and on the market, is Professor Robert Edu. He is an agriculture economist here on the KNUST campus. Prof, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Right.
All right, so Prof, just about some weeks ago, we heard the announcement from Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso that they are breaking away from the regional bloc. And already we know these countries import their tomatoes and onions into Ghana. How crucial is these importations into our Ghanaian market?
We import volumes, and we spend millions of Ghana cedis to bring in tomatoes and onions from those countries. And so, as far as Ghana is concerned, I think that if they are not bringing it, we'll be able to conserve on some foreign exchange. However, because they are critical for household food consumption, it will affect us in terms of household food security and then also food prices on the market. As a country, you will not be spending a lot of the CFA to bring in these commodities, all right, but you will be spending a lot more to try and buy the few quantities on the market because of the limited supply on the market. Quite a number of the women who go to these countries to bring in the tomatoes and the onions will not be able to continue with their businesses, and so we are going to lose some employment over there. I'm sure their household members depend on them for their livelihoods, and so once they are unable to go to Burkina or Niger, then household is going to suffer a bit. Now, that is the downside of it. The other side, which I talked about earlier on, has to do with the food security implications at the household level. But if you look at it from a positive side, it will force us as a country to now begin to think about local solutions. So as a country, if you are not producing enough onions, you are not producing enough tomato, and the country that is supplying you is no longer available to supply you, then you are forced to now put structures and strategies in place so that you'll be able to produce it on your own. And so I can say that we are going to suffer in the short term if they should go ahead and restrict the importation that we are doing from those countries. But in the medium to long term, if we sit and reflect on what they are doing and take pragmatic measures to address it locally, then we'll be able to maybe become self-sufficient in the production of those vegetables.
Okay. Now, we've talked a bit about the Ghanaian economy. Now, to them, as an agricultural economist, do you think these countries will also lack in terms of their importation, the exchange rates a bit, if they should cut supplies to Ghana?
Yeah, I think the implications are quite obvious. So for them, it's a major source of foreign exchange for their local economy. So their farmers are producing it in large volumes. I'm not sure their domestic market will be able to absorb all the quantities. And so they sell some to us so that they will be able to continue to keep their farmers in their farming businesses, and all the actors within the agricultural value chain who are working on these commodities will also be in business. And so if they should go ahead and pull out of ECOWAS and therefore restrict us from buying from them, I think it will also be hurting their local economies.
Okay. The Minister for Agriculture laid an instrument before Parliament to restrict some of these imported foods. What do you make of the whole LI situation? Do you think it's going to protect even farmers or even some of these tomato farmers and onion farmers in Ghana?
Again, it's a yes and no situation. You see, in public policy, in agricultural policy formulation, you are looking at the interest of the farmer. You are also looking at the interest of the consumer, because both players are within the economy and government is supposed to protect every one of them. Now, immediately, if you want to ban or restrict the volumes that are coming, and if the levels are very significant, at the end of the day, within the short term, you will see that prices are going to escalate because the volumes on the local market will not be adequate. Because agricultural production has a cycle, and you cannot immediately produce vegetables or any staple crop and then put it on the market for people to consume. It has to go through the full cycle of planting, nurturing, and then harvesting and putting out there. The minimum we can talk about is 3 months. For annuals, we are talking about a year and over. And so I think that in principle, it is a good idea. The philosophy behind it is okay. But in terms of practical implementation, we need to phase it out so that if you have a phased approach, you can restrict it to a certain minimal point, and then continually you restrict the level of importation, and then you give yourself about 3 to 5 years period of time within which you may want to completely cut the importation of certain specific commodities that we have local capacity to produce in the country.
So I have been interacting with Professor Robert Edu. He is an agriculture economist here at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. We've been having discussion on the impact, assessing the impact of Niger, Burkina Faso and Mali's breakaway from the regional bloc and its implication on some of the commodities that are being imported into the country from these 3 countries. Join us same time on the food chain here on the Joy News channel with me, Emmanuel Bright Kwiku. See you next time.